So in your comfortable seat, however it is, bring the center of the palm to the kneecaps and just press a little bit in. It's an acupressure point that starts to invite the breath to soften. It's one you can do when you're in a meeting or Thanksgiving dinner, slide your hands under your table. It brings a bit of ease, reduces a bit of stress. And as we linger there, just notice your breath coming in and going out. Connecting to this smooth, flowing breath. Noticing and feeling. Notice how the longer we sit here, the more the body starts to release. You might feel the shoulders roll down the back, the spine lengthen. You might feel more support where the bum and the legs and feet touch the mat. Just notice. These small moments of notice, that's yoga, the connection, mind, body, and breath. And then you're welcome to keep the eyes softly closed or flutter them open. We'll take our right hand down to the side, left arm reaches up and overhead. As you inhale, come back through center and cartwheel the arms over to the other side. Once more, just flowing with your breath. Now go all the way over to the right again and pause there. And I want you to explore, what does it feel like to press your hand into the mat? What happens to the side ribs? What about the top hand? Reach it toward the bathroom wall. Now think about the chest. Begin to roll the chest toward the mat, adding a little twist while pressing and reaching with the hand. And then roll the chest up to the side. Let's take that one more time. And then come back through center. And move to the other side. We'll have that same little exploration. Pressing the bottom hand in, reaching the top hand over. Breathe there, really feel the length through the body, and then start to dip the chest down to the mat. And roll the chest up. Silly. One more time, shift. And then return. We'll slide one of our blocks, have it on the long edge of the mat, and make your way onto your back. We'll meet with the feet on the floor, knees to the sky, spine and head on the mats. And then take the palms of your hands and put them on your legs. Slide the palms toward the hips. And then apply a little pressure there, as if you could move the hips away. You might make contact and feel the bone. You might feel the skin. You might feel the muscle. What we're looking for is length along the top of the hip, that hip flexor. And then soften and release. Press into the feet, lift the hips. We'll slide the block. I'm going to encourage you to use the lowest level. Slide it underneath the pelvis and feel really balanced there for a moment. Left leg stays exactly where it is, and right heel, I want you to slide it out against the mat. Feel the pressure, lengthen through the leg. And then when that right leg lengthens, reach even more through the right heel. Notice what this does to the top of the hip, that hip flexor. And then you might be able to notice the direction in which your toes are pointing. If you don't, just peek up at them. We're going to think about moving our toes. I want you to roll them out to the side. Doesn't matter which side, we're doing both directions. Roll them back up to the ceiling and then over to the other side. Yeah. And as you move through that, notice what happens with the hip. We're cueing the toe and the heel, but it's really the femur bone that's moving inside the hip socket. And then come back through center and reach again. Heel away from you. Heels pressing toward me like you're going to kick me. Toes are coming back to your face. Perfect. And then drag the heel along the mat. Start to bend the knee. We're going to slide that right foot threaded underneath the left. Reach it around. Maybe even your hand comes around and reaches for the foot. We want to slide that foot in as close to the block as possible. Okay, the moment you're feeling it, you're doing it. But for those of you who aren't quite feeling it yet or want to explore a different sensation, think about rooting the right knee toward the mat. Everybody feeling something? Okay, good. I always find it harder to teach a class if everybody's super bendy, because then you're like, ooh, I don't know how to make it even more. Are you still breathing? Okay, perfect. Starts to or release that right foot, place it on the floor. Just pause for a moment and notice how much work we've done on the hips while keeping the hips stable and still on the ball. And then slide that left heel away from you. Reach it toward me. Notice which direction your toes are. And then exaggerate that direction. So slide the toes or roll the toes out to the side, back up through center and toward the other side. So you're making a little frowny face in the sky. Notice what happens with the heel and the knee and the hip. When the toes come up to the sky, draw them back towards your face. Press the heel out. You control how much intensity, how much activation there is. And then drag the heel along the mat towards you. Thread it underneath the body. You can reach for it with your hand if you like. That heel is coming somewhat in the direction of the block. And again, you've got that opportunity to stretch the left knee toward the top of the mat, that short edge of the mat. Remember, this is just a warm-up. We just want to notice and feel and explore. And then as you're ready, release. Very mindfully place the feet back on the floor. Feel rooted through the feet and lift the hips. Slide the block out of the way and stay in your bridge pose. Just notice. In your bridge pose with the hips elevated, I want to feel the knees moving towards your toes. I want to feel length through the hips. You've kind of stretched out that hip flexor. What would happen if you press the heels into the mat? What happens if you squeeze the bone? And then lower down into the ground. Hug the knees into the chest and give yourself a little side to side sway, a little hug. We're going to take our block that was on the side of the mat and just reach it overhead, place it near the top of the mat, or toward anywhere toward the short edge of the mat. So I have mine past my head. And then paste the feet back down on the ground. Stretch the left leg out nice and long. Let it rest on the mat. Hug the right knee into the body and then open up for a little half happy baby. So the foot's coming to the ceiling. I like to hold my shin as I move through a couple of pulses, but if you want to hold your foot or your thigh, you're welcome to. I want to use the arm strength to pull the knee down to the side. Notice the left bum cheek kind of float up. Now press the left bum cheek down and notice the knee float up. Just take that a few times, pulsing, noticing. Perfect. We're going to add on. So bring the knee down and then start to move into a supine twist. Take that right leg across the body. And then roll back into half happy baby. Now, there's no right, there's no wrong way of moving and shifting. We're just exploring, stretching out, warming out the muscles. So if you're feeling it, you're doing it. Let's take that one more time, both sides. Thank you, Joanna. I'm so sorry, baby. Then release, stretch the right leg along on the mat to notice the difference between the two legs. Take the arms back behind your head, find a full body stretch, wiggle through the fingers, circle the wrist and toes and ankles. And then hug the left knee in. Moving into the other side, that half happy baby, using arm strength to pull the knee down and then pressing the hip down. Pulsing back and forth, maybe about 4 times. And then when you're ready to expand a little bit wider, take the left foot across the body. Move into a supine twist. Back through that. Last one here. When you return to the spine, stretch the legs long, reach the arms overhead. Interlace the fingers and roll the palms toward the mirror behind you, away from the head. Reach through the center of the palm. And then take the arms and just sway them over to the right, sway them over to the left. Again, tapping into length along the sides of the body. And then release the hands, hug the knees into the chest. We're going to roll along the spine several times, gain momentum. So maybe you kind of roll and lift up and tap the toes down, roll back, you let the hips lift. You can make that movement as large, as wide, as big as you like. And then eventually we're going to come into stand. There's no rush to get there. Just finding yourself in Tadasana when you arrive. It's hard to roll up sometimes, right? Sometimes it feels so good on the spine and sometimes I get frustrated. So just recognize as you're standing in your mountain pose, what emotions are arising. And be okay with that. Be content with that. Circle the arms up and overhead. As you exhale, fold forward. Inhale, half lift, hands to the floor, the shins, the thighs, lengthen the spine. Exhale, fold again. A little half salute one more time. Inhale all the way up, reach the arms up. Feel free to add the back bend. Use the breath. Exhale and fold. Half lift. And fold. Perfect. Now widen the feet. Take them a little bit wider. Maybe the toes point to the corner. Bend the knees. Sink the hips. Squat. I want you to think about taking the hands forward, walking the fingers forward. We're really creasing through the hips as much as you'd like. So the bum's going back, the arms are reaching forward, not the head, yes. I will breathe in this posture, Catherine, yes. And then walk the hands back toward the feet. Press the elbows against the legs, lift up through the chest. Now I want you to resist with the legs. Your elbows are pressing, but I want your legs to squeeze back. Notice what happens. And then release. Take the hands over to your right side. Just pause there. Look down at the palms and imagine all the energy from your heart coming out towards your fingertips. You're shooting love and kindness to the person on your right. And then take the hands over to the left. And again, that energy from your heart is shooting out all the sweet things to the person on your left. And come back through center. Hands can plant, lift the hips. Find a half lift, lengthen through the spine. And forward. Reposition the feet if you haven't yet. Toes are coming forward. You lift all the way up. Back bend if you'd like. Exhale, hinge forward. Half lift, extend the spine. This time as you fold forward, bend the knees, plant the hands, step back, plank pose. Now pause in the plank. My favorite thing that every student hates, pause in the plank. I want you to think about your heels coming up over the toes. I want you to think about length through the spine, belly drawn in. Feel the shoulder blades expanding. Perfect. And then think about that shoulder inside the socket, the arm, the humerus bone inside the socket. I want you to start to shift the humerus bone back, send the hips back, down dog. As you inhale, ripple forward into plank. As you exhale, down dog. 2 more, please, just like that. We're going to meet in plank again. When you arrive into plank, lower the right knee and pivot the right foot to the long edge of the mat. Coming into a side plank, right hand roots, left hand lifts. Perfect. Now I want you to explore here for a minute. I want you to think about, what do I need to fire up in order to float the back foot? Perfect. Now put the back foot down. What do you need to fire up to float the bottom hand? It doesn't have to be very high, although it's easier if it's high. So just think about engaging, lifting, and extending. Bring the hand down, pivot the foot back, make your way in and down. Perfect. For those of you who kind of question, like, what the heck is she doing? We're going to play around with half moon with no support under the bottom hand. So I want you to tap into the muscles along the side body. As you inhale, ripple forward, plank pose. As you exhale, lower down. Knees or no knees, doesn't matter. Come all the way down to the ground. Inhale, lift through the chest. Find that cobra pose or up dog. Exhale, release. So back, down dog. Ripple forward into plank. This time the left knee is coming down to the ground. We're pivoting it out to the side, moving into a side plank. And again, this exploration. What do I have to do in order to hover the back foot? And then tap the foot down. What do I have to do? How do I have to shift in order to hover the left hand? And then come down. Cartwheel the arm forward, pivot the toes back, move through a vinyasa. Inhaling as you shift forward, exhaling as you lower, inhaling as you lift. Exhale, down dog. Ripple forward into plank again. We're just going to repeat that. Land the right knee. Pivot it out to the long edge of the mat. Come into the side plank. Perfect. Briefly hover the back foot. And then place it down. Briefly hover the bottom arm, the right hand. Place it down. Cartwheel the hand. Perfect. Keep that left toe on the ground, but lift the right leg up, 3-legged down dog. Maybe you take a moment here to bend the knee that's floating and think about moving that knee, that bent knee, the right knee up to the ceiling. And then level it up. Right foot stepping to the outside of the right hand. Beautiful. Take a moment there and just breathe and notice. And then straighten the front leg. As you exhale, the front knee bends. As you inhale, the front leg straightens. 2 more just like that. Step it back, find 3-legged down dog. Land the foot. Right leg or left leg lifts. Oh, I forgot to do a whole bunch of stuff. Put that foot back down on the ground. Ripple forward into plank pose. Land the knee. Pivot the toes out. 5-side plank. Now, it's easier to lift the foot high than it is to lift low. So kind of explore. Maybe the leg or the foot taps down and the hand lifts. Maybe you're feeling all kind of jaunty and you cover the foot in. Woo! Good job, Claudia. Cartwheel the arms forward. Land the back foot, 3-legged dog. Lift the left leg. Bend the knee. Let the knee roll toward the ceiling. Open up through the hips. And then it's coming forward outside of the left hand, lizard pose. Perfect. When you're ready, straighten the front leg. And flow back and forth. Perfect. That back knee can stay bent and on the floor, or it can stay lifted, your choice. 2 more. Press into the hands, shoot that left leg up and back. 3-legged down dog and then down. Ripple forward into plank. Lower down. Use the inhale to lift up through the chest, lengthen through the spine. Tuck the toes and the hips up and back. Come forward into plank. Adding on, so the right knee comes down, we pivot out to the side. Find your side plank, hovering or not, whatever variation you choose. Perfect. And then plant the hands. Pivot the knee back, 3-legged down dog. One little open here. And then bring it forward outside the right hand. 1 shift back and forth. Straighten the front leg. Bend the front knee. Here's where we're adding on. I want to straighten the front leg 1 more time. And then walk the hands around the edge, the long edge of the mat, pivot on the feet. You're going to come to the back of the mat, Skandasana, bending the back leg and extending the front. Perfect. Play around with where your toes of that straight leg. Excellent. And then hands take a little walk. We're bending through both knees, almost like you're crawling or sliding around again. Plant the hands, lift the right leg, 3-legged down dog. And release. Ripple forward into plank. Lower the left knee, pivot the toes out. Here's that side plank variation. I find the more I can shift my hip over the knee, the more stable it is to lift the bottom hand. And then release the hands. 3-legged down dog, lifting that left knee behind you. Maybe you bend it, maybe you open it, maybe you leave the hips level. And then step that left foot forward. Lizard pose, and then one lob, really, really wide. And then lizard pose. We're going to start to walk the hands over to the back of the mat. So kind of crawl them along the long edge of the mat. Right knee bends, left leg straightens. So you can couple of breaths there. We all breathing? Okay, good. Press into the feet, wiggle the hands back up to the front of the mat. 3-legged down dog, release. Lower the knees down to the ground. Take a little child's pose. In your child's pose, wiggle through the fingers and the wrist. Sometimes you're taking up care and love from them, so do what you need to do. Give yourself some nurture. One more breath. Reach the hands forward, tuck the toes, make your way into down dog. Right leg lifts. This time we're gonna hug the knee underneath the body. Like a little crunch, draw that right knee in underneath the body and then inhale, shoot it back behind. Let's do another one. Exhale as the nose comes to the knee. Inhale as we lift back behind. Exhale. This time we're going to step that right foot down, rise up, high lunge. Perfect. You can keep the hands lifted or bring them to the hips if you'd like. Straighten the front leg. And then bend. One more, just like that. Perfect. Cartwheel the arms, open up, warrior two. Right knee bends. Take a couple of breaths here and just notice, check in with the feet, feel strong through the feet. Feel long through the arms. Flip the front hand, exalted. Take the arm back and around. Come back through, warrior two. Superpower move. So here the front knee is bent. We're going to come into that Skandasana at the back of the mat. Front leg straightens, back leg bends. Sear the hips a little bit. And then come back to warrior two. Perfect. 3 more. That's it. Move with your breath. This is what the surface is like. Wide. Reminisce. Come on. We'll meet in warrior two. I think that's your 3rd one, right? Perfect. Cartwheel the arms all the way forward. Lift that back foot. Move through a vinyasa if you choose. Fold forward. Frame the foot. Lower as you exhale. Lift and extend as you inhale. Meet in down dog. Same other side. Left leg lifts. We're going to bring that left knee underneath the body toward our nose. Yeah. And then inhale, shoot it out behind. Exhale. And exhale. And this time as the knee comes forward, step it all the way through. Rise up, high lunge. Feel really steady on the feet, straighten the front leg. And then bend. Again. Let's take one more. Open up, warrior two. Flip the front hand. Find exalted or reverse warrior. Back through warrior two. Moving into Skandasana, front leg straightens, back knee bends. I like to take my hands to the heart and then returning into warrior two. 3 more, just like that. You got it. Meeting in warrior two. No rush. Cartwheel the arms all the way forward, frame the foot, lift that back heel, move through a vinyasa. Or not, your choice. From your down dog, just tap the knees down. We're going to bring our block toward the short edge of the mat. Everybody has a different height that they like. I'm going to set it up on the right side of the short edge. Perfect. And then return to down dog. Moving through the sequence, but just one shape at a time rather than repeating. Let's inhale, lift the right leg. Exhale, hug it in underneath the body. Step it down. Rise up, warrior two. Exalted. Warrior two. 1 Skandasana, back of the mat. Lean forward. Perfect. Now I want you to think about reaching this hand that's closest to me, the right hand, forward. Start reaching it forward. See if you can find that block. Left arm can lift up to the sky or to the waist. And power up that front leg and float the back foot. My stand right here behind you. Perfect. So I want you to think about your hips. We want to think about both hip headlights, both little angularly crested the hips facing the prop wall. Beautiful. Now, what would it take to lift the leg a little higher? Perfect. Maybe even a couple of pulses. Excellent. And then pause that. Could you start to hover the hand on the block? Eventually release. Bring the hands down. Standing splits. Let that left leg come all the way up to the sky. And then let the foot come down. Bend the knees. Take a little ragdoll here. Arms find the hands or hands find the arms. Sway through the body. With the next inhale, half lift. Extend the spine. Extend the legs. Exhale, fold, plant the hands, lift the heels, and just tiptoe the feet back into down dog. Glad you thought that was funny. I did too. We're going to try that on the other side. So if you want to slide the block over to the left corner and have it ready, that's cool. Left leg lifts. Bring it underneath the body into the nose, curl in, and then shoot it out behind. Bring it underneath the body, tap it down, open up, warrior two. One exalted. Warrior two. Bend the back leg, straighten the front. Come back through warrior two. Reach that left arm, reach, 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 reach. Let it come down to the ground and find the block. And again, I always like to start with my right hand on the hip, but you can always take it up. Press into the block, power up that front leg, lift the back. Start to roll the hips and the chest towards your leg. Beautiful. And then explore, can you lift the back leg a little higher? And then come just right back here behind me. And then take another breath wherever you are. And then release the hands, lift the right leg, shoot it up to the sky as high as you can. Squeeze the bum, standing splits. And then release the foot. It comes down, find ragdoll. Hold on to the opposite arm. Let the body sway. Maybe it kind of shifts to rock. As you inhale, extend the spine, half lift. As you exhale, fold. Bend the knees so much, fingertips come to the floor, maybe even the palms, lift the heel, tiptoe back. Okay, we're gonna add on again. So a lot of it's gonna feel the same. Hopefully I can remember the sequence as we keep adding on. Everything is optional. Right leg lifts. Bring that right knee underneath the body to the nose, curl in, inhale, shoot it out. This time, step it forward. Rise all the way up, root the back heel, warrior two. Exalted, palm lifts. Warrior two. Perfect, reach the hand. Maybe it comes down through the block. We want to power up that front leg, start to float the back leg, stack things. Beautiful. Play around with that hovering of the hand. Excellent. And then maybe you bring your hand back to the block. I'm going to give you an opportunity here to bend the floating leg. See if you can tip yourself in the bum. Maybe even reach with the hand. Trigger hand. Can we come right behind you here? Think about rolling the chest up. Yeah, that's it. Perfect. Release as you're ready. Find that little standing split. So hand comes down, foot lifts. Squeeze the left bum cheek, lift the leg a little bit higher. Yes. And then release. Ragdoll. Half lift, draw breath in. And fold. Lift the heels. Tiptoe to the back of the mat. Left leg lifts. Draw it in underneath the body. Shoot it out behind. Draw it underneath the body, step it down, rise up. Warrior two. Exalted. Warrior two. Reach, 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 reach forward. Maybe you fight the block, maybe you don't need it now. Power up the left leg, lift the right. Perfect. Then play around. Do we bend the knee? Can you reach the front?
Not on this side. That's funny.
Yeah, one side is totally different than the other. Woo, good job. Kate. When you're ready, hands come down. The leg lifts higher. Squeeze the right bum cheek, lift it a little bit higher, and then release. Last time, ragdoll. Perfect. Release the hands, find a half lift. And then fold again. I'm gonna bend the knees a whole lot and start to slide my big toes closer together. Bend the knees even more, sink the bum down. And then shoot the arms forward, chair pose. So a lot going on in your chair pose. You want to feel more weight in the heels than the toes. You want to feel length through the back of the body and constriction through the belly and the chest. Beautiful. As we exhale, pretend like you're skiing, send the belly to the thighs and stretch the arms back. As you inhale, press into the feet, lift up through the torso again. Keep going. Exhale. Inhale. Exhale. Inhale. One more, that's it. This time, press all the way to the feet, rise up. Interlace the fingers and roll the palms to the ceiling. Lengthen from the feet all the way up through the wrists. Take a little side bend, sway to one side. Come back through center, sway to the other side. Release the hands. Pause in your Tadasana. Check in with those hip flexors and notice how they feel. You feel it in. There's this really cool thing that the body automatically balances. We're moving into camel. So think about the front of the thighs, the front of the hips lengthen. And in order to do that, you've got to shorten the backside. Perfect. So we're going to just play around standing here, moving into a back. So feel the feet rooted, feel length through the front, feel length through the belly. Feel the backside, feel stretched. And it's one of those sweet spots. We don't want the low back to feel pinchy, but we want to feel the hamstrings and the thumb engaged. Reach one arm up to the ceiling, doesn't matter which, we'll do both. Gaze toward that hand, and then put the hand back down alongside the back. Other side. And release. Perfect. This time, as you lift the hand, I want you to flip the palm so the thumb comes forward. And then swing that arm around behind you any amount. Still focus on the stability through the legs. And then come back through center and release. Other side lifts. Find that stability, find that constriction. Flip the palm, maybe. Pull thumb to the front of the body. And then take both arms out overhead. As you exhale, fold. Half lift. And fold, bend the knees a whole lot. Take the knees all the way down to the mat. Come into a high kneel, please. I always peek back behind my toes. I want to make sure I can't see my feet. So I'm just looking at my knees. A lot of times we bring our toes in and we bring our toes out. I'm just lining up my feet. And then lift up high. So again, think of plank in the body. So we've got our knees and our hips and our shoulders all in one line. I'm gonna just take my hands on the top of my thighs or the sides, whatever feels better. Keep this straight line and just lean back. As you come forward again, squeeze the bum, engage the hamstrings, use that power to lift. Take a couple of these. I always notice after the first two, I was like, oh, I can go back a little bit further. I know where I'm going. No back bend, just the activity. Engaging the muscles. Perfect. And then think about that engagement. Start to lift the chest. Adding a back bend, you can reach an arm up. If you feel comfortable, you can flip the palm and reach it around behind. Maybe the other arm lifts. Okay, just explore. I like to windmill the arms forward again, take a little break, wiggle the shoulders. Legs, that's where the back bend starts. Activate. Think about hinging over as if you were rolling your spine over a giant beach ball. Let the left arm or the other arm lift. Perfect. You're welcome to roll it around behind you. One hand, two hand. Think about shifting the hips forward. Ooh, that's it, Mary. That is beautiful. And then release. Come all the way out of it. Widen the knees. Take yourself into a child's pose. Mary, if I was smart enough, I would snap. Not fast enough. I think about it after the fact. Okay, excellent. From our child's pose, we're just going to slide forward onto the belly. If you've got a block on the mat, slide it out of the way. We're going to lay the right hand on the floor, and then the left hand's going to stack on top. I've got my elbows nice and wide. Forehead can rest on the back of the hand. Getting some little asymmetrical work here. Take a breath. Then as we inhale, we're going to keep the right body, the right arm on the mat, but start to hover the left hand and the left elbow. Try to keep it in the same line. Start to lift the chest, maybe even gaze forward. And then tap it back down. Inhale to lift. Exhale to lower. Inhale, pause at the top. Think about that floating elbow. Can you start to stretch it up to the sky? Take a little twist through the thoracic. Yes, come back down. One more, with or without the twist, your choice. Pause, notice. And then flip the hands. Put the right hand on top of the left. Left arm stays glued to the mat. Right arm does the motion. We'll lift as we inhale and lower as we exhale. Inhale. Exhale. This time, if you want to add a little twist, that right elbow starts to hover or pull up toward the sky, and then we lower back down. One more time, your choice, elevation or add the twist. And lower. Take a breath or two here. Bend the knees, float the feet up, and let the feet kind of make circles here. I want you to start to notice how you're massaging the knee as well as the thigh. And then all that movement should feel good, or hopefully it feels good through the low back. And then take circles in the other direction. Release them down. Take the arms out like cactus arms, please. Move it into one more shoulder stretch. I'm going to lay the right cheek on the ground, or the right temple, the right side of the forehead, and stretch the left arm away from you. Ooh, I told you the wrong cheek. Let's lift the head and bring the gaze over to that bent right arm. So the left cheek is on the mat. And then I like to slide the right hand so it's right in front of my face. Press into the hand and start to roll over onto your left side in the amounts. You control the amount. It's your shoulder. It should never hurt. Maybe even back out just a little bit and soften the breath. And then return to the belly. We'll switch sides. Rolling onto the right side. Again, focus on the shoulder. Maybe you back out just a little bit and then you breathe, softening, releasing. And then return to the belly. Take the arms forward, legs back like you're Superman flying. Press the pubic bone down into the ground. We're gonna lift the arms, lift the legs, lift the gaze. Okay, here's our challenge. As if this wasn't enough, lower back down. Okay, one more time, lift. The challenge is can you roll over? Off the mat, maybe legs and hands. Yes. And then roll back to the belly. Oh, we're gonna try it to the other side. You ready? Roll. When you get to the other side, bend the knees and then just kind of wiggle your way back onto the mat. So we're on our back here. If you're not on your back, find your way onto your back, bend the knees. We'll place our feet on the floor, knee to the sky. Feel a little bit of comfort there if you can. And then reach that right leg up to the sky. We'll take the ankle and clip it over the thigh for a figure 4 stretch. You can press the hand against that floating thigh if you'd like. You could even resist the hand. And then widen the arms, a little T shape or W, widen your wings. We'll keep the ankle clipped over that left thigh and invite the legs to move as one unit. We're going to roll over to the left. The right knee is going to be up toward the sky. The right foot, the sole of the foot will be on the floor, and the whole outside of the left leg will be against the floor. You might take a little turning of the back of the head, a little side to side gaze, shifting back and forth. If you've moved the gaze, lift it back up to the sky. Press the bum toward the ground, lift the legs. We're going to switch out the legs. Same as before, take a little exploration, move into the twist. While y'all are working on that, I'm going to turn the overhead lights off so we start right smack in our face. Take it at your own pace, your own rhythm. Eventually, we'll roll and release into our Shavasana. You've got a block there if you want to take a little restorative bridge instead. If there's something else that your body wants, maybe it's a whole happy baby. And then eventually you come into a resting pose. You come into a shape where the body can soften and release. You might notice the body, physical body.
And then maybe you shift the awareness to your breath. You notice that that's becoming longer. Body softening and releasing. You might notice your emotions. You're safe, you're loved, there's nothing that you need to do or be. Just stay in the silence, in the stillness. Mind just wandering off, gently guided back into the breath. Feel your inhales, expanding, stretching, reaching into all the curves and crevices of your body. That expanded breath, bring a little movement and maybe starting slow, shifting the head side to side. Eventually that movement grows. Full body stretch and feel sure you're sort of curling in yourself. An invitation to transition to your side or up into a seat. Any comfortable seat is how we will feel. Your stomach. Feel the sitting bones and the legs become heavy. And then balance that out with lightness, lifting, floating sensation of the spine and the shoulders roll down. So the ears floating the shoulders. And take one more full breath in, circling arms up. Exhale, palms can slide down the midline. They can rest apart or back on your lap. Try a soft tuck of the chin. Take a moment for gratitude. For showing her. For moving, for breathing, for exploring. From my heart, what you feel. Stay.
Stay.
Thanks. Thanks. Thanks for moving and sweat. Did I? Sweat?
Yes, ma'am.
Awesome.
Good. Thank you. Yes, we're wonderful. Great.
You know what?
What's that?
I didn't have my map. My maps are all in my car because I'm in my dog van.